interesting pieces over here at the end of it. So I figure even though it's difficult, let's do it anyway.
Well,
any thoughts on what we're doing, anyone?
what's that?
Any thoughts on what we were learning?
Yeah, I'm not getting.
What?
I'm not getting much from it.
Okay, let me tell you what we did. So we had, what's the gift from the Messiah? So what we got is, to summarize, that a Messiah comes about through lack of life flowing to the place we needed to flow to. Saras is lack of life. Okay, and so what does it mean, lack of life? It means that a person doesn't have the core message of what he wants to achieve. So imagine you're running a business and you don't know why you're running the business. You're lacking the fundamental foundation of why you're running the business. So the idea is that a person has like a rotzoi without a shuv. A rotzoi without a shuv means yearn for Hashem, and it didn't come down into tachlis. So if a guy davens but doesn't have the integration of Torah and mitzvahs into his life, so then he's lopsided, and therefore there's lack of life. That lack of life is what we're talking about. That's what it means, the Matzah. Now there he went into a whole piece, which is very understandable actually. This is what happens when a person is doing, a Matzah is a Moitzi Shem Ra, which means Hashem's name is meant to be revealed everywhere. If you have real life, it means
how far further?
What?
Shortcut.
If you have Hashem, it means you reveal Hashem's life everywhere. That's what it would look like, right? So revealing Hashem everywhere would look like everything you're doing is with one stated goal of being Megale Elokut. That's the Nukud. When a person lives his life and he's trying to make a name for himself, he's trying to build a name, right? Like we said about the Afloga, that's what they were doing. Anshe Kairach, the Anshe Shem and the Malachim who came down. They were people who didn't align themselves completely with the core mission of what Hashem wants you to do. And this is the idea. If you don't align with the core mission, you get lack of life, equals saras. So far, so good, Eli?
Yeah, well, no, the reason it's very good, but what you just said, we could have a discussion without looking inside. The problem I have is I can't chazer this mimer.
I got it, because there's a lot of Kabbalah inside.
Yeah, I can't chazer it, so it's too,
Yeah, I can't help you in that regard. It is a lot of a very Kabbalistic mind.
Right.
Okay, but then he said the tikkun of Negoim, what is it? In Ois Beis, was to go in front of the Kohen. I mean, what does it mean, a Kohen? I mean, so he described that, that's Anayim and Amiroim were able to do specific, tremendous miracles. Why? Rapichas Ben Yair goes to the Rebbe Ginoi, split for me. How does he do such a miracle? The answer is because, he's completely aligned with Torah. So there's no separation and barrier between him and the Torah, than him and Hashem. That's why he can do whatever he wants. Not even a problem, right? It can just get done. So Behuva Lakoyin means bring it to what Hashem wants you to do. Absolutely align your life with what Hashem wants you to do, which is the Torah and the mitzvahs. And if you do, then you'll be completely cured of whatever malady you have. The next piece in Gimel is that you're going to go to this place of the Kohen. The place of the Kohen is Bittul. So in order for this whole thing to work, you want to have number one, aligning yourself with the core mission through Torah by going to the place of the Kohen, which is letting go and allowing. It's simple. In everything you have, instead of asking, what do I want out of this, ask, what does Hashem want to get out of this? And that's the mission. That's what it means. You go to the Kohen, you align yourself with him. So that's what we hope. I want to pick it up again. Yes, I can't help it. There's a lot of Kabbalah there. And I just want to get the basic ideas out. So if you look at page Chof Hey, column 2, middle of the column, shortly after the middle, there's a little parenthesis called Chulu. That's how the line begins. It says you bring the Matzah to the Kohen, and the Kohen comes out. So what does that mean? It means that there's a rotzoi, a yearning for Hashem, and the yearning for Hashem is aligned with Bittul. So he's teaching that Bittul is Chochmah and the yearning is the Bina. So you get these two Nakudas. When you have a yearning for Hashem, right? Don't stay on the level of yearning for Hashem. Ask, what does Hashem want? That's the same as in Tanya, Hoi called Somei, Lechulamai. If you're thirsty for Elokus, you got to understand that the Elokus, the thirst for Elokus is answered out by learning Shorish Nogach Esapor. And that doesn't make sense, but that's the Chiddush. That's the Rotz and the Shub together. Al derech toshav hey legabe yud. The hey and the yud unite together. The zewin and Shema Yisrael. Okay, I'm skipping a couple lines over here. Sorry, I'm going to skip reset, get to the end of here, and just to get this liquid out. Look about. Okay, go to the bottom of the page. 8 lines to the bottom of the page. Now we have a whole piece of avodah, skipping all the Kabbalah. The line begins v'hinei. So now that we established that you have to have, this is the idea, you have to have a Ratzai and a Shuv together, which means in order to have a relationship with Hashem, there has to be a yearning for Hashem and an integration into your real life. You got to have a yearning for Hashem and integration into Torah and mitzvahs. The Ratzai, the yearning, is meant to ignite your soul. But if you stick only with the Ratzai, what you'll have is a circulation of life, but you'll actually have tzaras. The goal is to have actual vessels of Torah and mitzvahs to perform. Just like the earth is a little nothing compared to the heavens, so too the Ratzah is nothing compared to the Shuv. But Hashem wants ultimately is the Shuv. He wants the tachlis of a Yid living a physical Torah life in this world. Let a person learn and learn and learn. The mishkach. Fascinating. You should learn even if you keep forgetting. And even if he has no idea what he's learning. It's a good message for people who learn Daf Yomi sometimes and don't know what they're saying. He's saying, keep doing it. Even if you don't know what you're learning, there's no mitzvah, by the way, in Torah Shabbat Peh, if you don't understand what you're saying. He's saying, keep learning, don't stop.
As opposed to learning something that you'll get something from?
What?
As opposed to learning the same hour, learning something that you'll get something from?
No. If a question is get something or don't get something, of course the answer is get something.
Yeah, so then don't do it.
The question is, if I'm not getting anything, should I stop?
Yeah.
Stopping nonsense.
Stop and learn something that you can get something
No,
from.
let's say I'm not doing anything, but the question is, should I learn anyway? I'm not learning, either I learn the daf or nothing. And when I learn the daf, I'm just reading it.
Okay, that's like the shitkis of psukim, that you don't know the types of psukim.
The answer is fascinating. Every letter of Torah you learn, if you say it out, you make a keli, you're a vessel, a receptacle for Hashem. In Tanya, a couple of parkim ago, he explained, and then one day when you go and learn that same thing, Lishma, you'll pick up what you learned before. The Oz, next page, and then the light will be able to succeed. And that's the whole nakud of this Maimon. The whole nakud of the Maimon is that the blood needs a circulation and a vessel in order to house it, otherwise it disappears. That's what he says. Look in the beginning of parentheses of the second line, I'm sorry. Do not be afraid of having a white snow home, because your home is going to be full of scarlet and red. In other words, don't be afraid of tzaras, because you're going to get blood flowing. Meaning, the baheres is mighty like snow. When a person has blood flowing through his body, then it feels red. Look at your skin, it's red. When the blood ceases to circulate, that's called white, even nowadays. And when it gets to a full white, that's called tzaras. So, white is the father, red is the mother, right? Because it says, Tanya Perek Beis, father gives the whiteness of the body and the mother gives the redness. White is Chochmah, Abba, and red is Bina, which is the Ima. If you lack, the Moichin the Abba disappears.
And saying that is based upon what the Tanya is quoting.
Mhm.
That the father gives the white and the mother gives the red. That's why red is Bina. That's the core reason. Okay.
That's why the blood drops. Because it's the Chacham of Hashem coming down again and again and again. Again, I'm just finishing this, even though it's very esoteric. Torah Shabbat Pen Nikr Chuta Shoni. Torah is called the redness. So Torah Shabbat is the woman, and Torah Shabbat is the man, which is self-understood because Torah Shabbat gives you an idea, and Torah Shabbat carries it through. So if you lack Torah Shabbat and you only have Torah Shabbat, that's when the blood is not flowing through. So you'll have a whiteness, but no red. And that's why you go white. You still have white, but you have the idea, but you don't have tachlis in it. In other words, it's like like learning Mekubalim, the Kabbalah Center, whatever they were. You learn theory, a lot of theory, but there's no tachlis of what you need to do.
Does that have anything to do with Eish Chayr or Eish Labada? So Eish Chayr is the red?
Not black, I don't know.
Yeah.
So the Shochas, the Chut Ashoni Odom Zeu Kimoshel is Pashto Dam Nefesh Ebechaber Sheikav Zivadom. The blood flows. That's opposite of the blood. And he gets okay.
Oh man.
Good. That's the end of the mind. So now,
I think we missed a piece of it.
What do you mean?
I think we missed a piece of the mimer where we left off yesterday, which I would say is about before the V'chulu, where you started without the parentheses. We had a kasha, Vuva l'koyin v'yotza l'koyin. Right, we had a problem. Person has the soirus, has rotzai. He doesn't bring it down to shuv. What happens? Is he nikich sechatzoinim? Means the person finishes davening, he's all bisrakshus, and then he becomes bekas. He runs over, he finds everything wrong, and other people davening, right? Because he davens 18 minutes, they only daven 12 minutes. He starts screaming at them. So his rotzai went to the wrong place. He becomes a metzora, right? So it says v'uvel koyin to bring Torah. So he said a point over here that you can't just start learning Torah and get cured. You have to do again the rotzai. You have to do again the v'huvalakayin, then v'yotlakan. V'huvalakayin means doing the rotzai and coming with a bittul, then learning Torah. The words were over here. Avol koydem es oires harotzai, like I would say, mamish in the middle of column 2. Koydem es oires harotzai from moichen de ima, I efshel hamshich moichen de abba. Und der sagt dann, bevor aber der Levi Husch, wo ist der Hamscher Moichen immer, das sehen wir schon weiter, der ist der Himschach Moichen Abba. Where you can't machine can below him, sure. Means you can't. We're talking about now whole time, need the can, and need the Moichen Abba. But let's say there was a Stalkes Moichen Abba. Means the Moichen Abba weren't in this gala through the Moichen de Immer, you have to go back, do again the Moichen de Immer. You have to do again the Cyrus. We learned in Tanya on Achim Shel Pesach. I'll quote the Tanya there, that every hour, right, before you learn, you have to have this Kavanah L'Shem Yichud. Why? Because you have to have the bittul. Learning Torah without a bittul doesn't work. And every hour, you have to do it again, because you have to remind yourself, hey, why am I learning? Not just learning. So I think, Eli, it's a very tachlis the Gemara over there. I mean, you have to know which words are the Kabbalah, which words are the...
Yeah, I'm not saying otherwise. I just find
it's difficult to read. Yeah, so, I mean, the Maimon is saying two things. If you don't have Torah, and you don't want to be a guy who's making a shame for himself and trying to get for his own self, you need to be two pieces, the Ratzah and the Shuv. You've got to be a yearning for Hashem and then going to learn. So going to learn on its own doesn't help you because you're not thinking about Hashem. But thinking about Hashem doesn't help because you've got to go learn. So you've got to have the actual words. And then the process of having them both. Okay.
So how about going back to B'Yom Shmini? How about doing that one?
Do it what?
The one B'Yom Shmini.
Page 40, yeah.
Yeah. You want to do that one?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go to page 40. If anyone have a Likutei Torah? When we say a page, you have the page? If anyone doesn't have the page, send me a... Send me a thing and I'll send it to you. Private message. Let's go to page 40 and learn about Brit Milah. Page 40. So we're back to Parshas Tazria now. There's double Parsha. And if you look at page 40 on the bottom of the first column, there's a whole piece on Brit Milah. Because the Parsha obviously about Brit Milah. Sechar Hashmini is Brit Milah. Bishop and Arita and Gottes. So what happens is David HaMelech goes into the Merachats. He goes into the bathhouse. And he has no clothing on. The Matzach HaLashmini is Al-Mila Shenitna Bashmini. Shema Merachats, page 40, column 2. Ra'ois Atzmi Orum. David saw himself naked. So he doesn't know what to do. Naked means I have no mitzvahs on me. So he feels naked, not just physically, but more importantly, spiritually. If I have no clothing on, what mitzvah could possibly be on me? Now remember, he's a man who wears tefillin all day long. Clearly, he has tzitzis on him, right? He's got tefillin on him, and tzitzis, and he's learning Torah all the time. And he's all the time able to do mitzvahs. But in the bathhouse, you're not allowed to think about Torah, and you can't have anything you wear. So what am I doing? So I have no mitzvahs. Then he looks and he says, 1 second. There's one mitzvah I have. What's that milah? What's a mitzvah milah? Eventually, it's kind of milah. He's the ashvadat. He's the menach. Med gimel on the base. And the gemara menachas. He's excited about his bris milah. The chenu gamkin b'Yerushalmi say pasachas brachas. Yerushalmi has the same gemara. So I didn't understand. Lomo is Shiur al shenitna b'shmini dafka. Why is he singing about the Shmini? Yeah? Singing about the Shmini. It says, Lamatzeach ala Shminis. It should have been Lamatzeach ala Milo.
Yeah.
But he's specifically saying, I'm excited about the fact that the Milo was given on the 8th day. Why is that the excitement? In Eksiv, it says, there's something uniquely special about Bris Milah that's connected to the Shmini. Torah says, this week's parsha, you have a bris milah on the 8th day, even if the 8th day is Shabbos. What's the milah of the Shmini that it pushes aside the holiness of Shabbos? If we want to understand why bris milah pushes aside Shabbos, right? It's very fascinating. Nothing pushes aside Shabbos. You have a bris milah, you're allowed to do. There's so many isurim done in a bris milah. The actual bris milah is mamish a wound, taking out blood, but on a very basic level, the malach of sheichet, and that's taking out blood, and you're mamish doing an actual wound on Shabbos, regardless of it. You want to understand why milah overrides Shabbos. You got to understand what is Shabbos. Through that, you understand what is milah. All the melachos of the weekdays, Lamed says melachos, the 39 melachos, which are Hachoresh ve'azoreya, etc. What are they? So, why do we do 39 melachos? The 39 melachos are plowing, sowing, etc. What are we? Fixing up the land to be able to produce food. A person can live and live well. So the 39 melachos are very good things and very positive things. You need to work in order to make a living, in order to produce food.
To live.
Yeah. So 39 melachos are the way to bring kedusha into the world. Because when you have food, you make a bracha on the food, and you bring kedusha in, then it's very holy. Also subsequently, so you make a bracha on the steak, on the bread, and then your body becomes strengthened. And when your body becomes strengthened, what does that mean? You can daven and learn. Very easy this time, right? Straightforward, easy words.
Later.
Mekayem mitzvahs. Lechach gam chayus hamachol oy le'ima v'nichal be'echad ve'ahavta. This is one of the most fundamental points of the Alter Rebbe, that the cow wants to daven. The cow can't daven.
It's a chiddush, not just that you're getting the koyach from the food. He's saying that the koyach sameach that's in the food, you're getting two things. Koyach, like you say, to your body to function, but you're getting, it's not the koyach from the physical gashmi. There's a not gashmi in the Michael, and you're getting that chiddush also. That's what he's saying.
What's your chiddush? The what?
Not my chiddush. The way I understood it.
But what
you're getting two things. You're getting if you eat the physical piece of meat, so whatever nourishment your physical body gets from it, you get it from the meat. I got it, and therefore you could daven and so on and so forth. But you also in the meat, there's an inherent, let's say in the tvua, right?
Energy.
There was an inherent koyach hatzameach in there, and you're getting that koyach into you also. It's separate from the nourishment.
Yes.
Two different things. That's a big chiddush.
Yep. Now there's in kolam melochas kafir bishul shetikun ma'achos sheroy lachilas v'adam. Baking and cooking. What's the purpose? To fix the food to be ready for eat. When I'm doing 39 melachas, I'm preparing the world to be roi for Hashem. Okay, so that's good for cooking and baking. What about weaving? Kena oyek shnei chutin is also a melacha. Chayetze, but you tikun Yisrael l'vush because that's clothing. Same thing, and you're making clothing. So you're doing something super holy by making clothing. Because what is all the melachas, all of them, and what I think it means is it's with clothing and food and homes, which is a heichal, a chamber. Why he said that is interesting. Why he needs to say that. I think the bottom is the heichalis.
The bottom of the chalas. I thought that each one is a different heichal.
I don't think so. I read it again. I think it means mezainis, levushim, and bottom and heichalis. But maybe I don't.
How are you saying it? That the bottom.
A bayis is a heichal. I don't know. Unless you find a different shot, because you could also say that each one of them is a heichal. I don't know.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
In other words, why is it necessary to say that a bayis is a heichal?
I don't know that he's saying. It's a question where you put the comment.
What we need to look up is, I'll tell you, if you look at the back of the Likutei, you'll see that every mimer was said. There's another hanoch of the mimer. If you look at the Ha'aras Hatziyonim, the back, the mimer comes. If you look at that other mimer, usually you see, you want an explanation, you want like see it, he'll with a different word, and you'll get the shot.
Yeah, I looked it up.
Same words. Yeah. Anyway, so the 39 melachas, what are they? They are in food, clothing, and shelter. That's what they are. They're fixing up your life. And during the week, you must do those melachas. Because kol biru zeu mirapach nitzutzim. These are the 288 sparks, and you're refining them. They fell down and the kelim broke and shattered. The mission is, bring one on my table of them. So there's these little sparks all the way in the physical world. What you want to do is bring them back up to Atzilus. What does Atzilus mean? Atzilus is Reshus HaYochid, the divine world. So there's a lot of things in the world, and you want to bring them up to Hashem. On the table. Atzilus is the divine world, but it's a divine world without man having got to fix it. It's just divine on its own.
But there was, you're saying that it was Niskam, but not Al Yadei Adam.
Yeah. Atzilus is the world of Tikkun. Atzilus is the holy world. What Hashem did was he took away the holiness, put you in the world of Asiya, of action, where you have it's a bad world, and what he says is fix it up, make this world holy.
Okay, but going back to Atzilus, so what was it Shviyas HaKelim in the Olam Atzilus?
No, it's before Atzilus. Atzilus is the world of Tikkun already.
What I'm asking you, so
Atzilus is the world of Tikkun. Atzilus is a fixed up world. However, Atzilus is only fixed up because Hashem made it fix it up.
But what was he?
And then Hashem
from? Or was the world that didn't need?
Listen. Atzilus, the world of Toyu, which is chaos. The world of Toyu shatters, and then you produce a new operating system called Atzilus B'Yitzir Asir. Atzilus, everything's fixed up. Where do the pieces of Toyu fall down to? Asir.
No, so what I'm asking you is, are you translating the word niskan that it didn't need fixing up?
Correct.
It doesn't mean that he fixed it up. It never needed.
Correct.
Up. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
This is why it says Sheishis Yomim Tavid. Why it says Sheishis Yomim Tavid? Because for 6 days you have to work the earth. It's not if you want you could work. If I want to rest, should I rest? No, you must do the 39 melachas. Why? Because what you're doing is engaging the physical world and bringing it to Hashem. And if you don't understand this, life could be very, very hard. Because, if you're a guy who wants to live in Kiryat Sefer, in a nice Haredi place, and you want to live off nothing and sustain off mamish, your wife does a bit of work, and you're just learning Torah Kol Hayom Kulei. What's going to happen to you very quickly is you're going to fall flat on your face. I'm sorry to tell you. Because there is no way to survive life unless you engage. You have to make money. So one way or another, if you decide not to make money, it'll catch up with you at some point. You'll be making weddings. I don't know. At some point, you're going to have to make money. Right? And why is that? Why is that? Because the 6 days of the work, Hashem wants us to engage the world. And it's not a bad thing. It's because the world needs to be absorbed into Elokus. So you need to be a person who doesn't want to make money and doesn't need to, and then go make it.
So when he says Shabar Lukim Lasais, which means Lasakin, then the learning, that world is not, you're not affecting a tikkun.
In the learning?
If you say Shabar Lukim Lasais, Lasais means Lasakin, right?
Right.
So put it in. So is that person that you're mentioning, is he being Masak in the world?
A person in this world, of course.
You said there's a person sitting in Bnei Brak, he's learning all day. He said eventually it's going to catch.
There is no such thing as a person in Bnei Brak who doesn't engage the world. Doesn't exist.
Okay. So in the altruistic word, there is no altruistic word that you say that you're being Masak. Okay, fine.
Not in this world. You can
I'm not arguing.
It's just the reality.
Okay.
So he's saying embrace it. Don't run away from it. Embrace the idea. Right? It's good. So that's the pshat Sheishis Yomim Tavid. So Shabbos, why don't we work? If you're telling me work is bad, so good. Shabbos is good. But now you're telling me work is great. Work means you're refining the world, you're changing the world, making it holy. So why can't I do work? See, we started with Mila. From Mila, we went to Shabbos because Mila overrides Shabbos. From Shabbos, we go to the work week. So if the work week is a contaminated place as we think it is, and then Shabbos is a holy zone, yeah, I get it. But if the work is actually to change the physical world, then why are you stopping to do it on Shabbos? Shabbos, middle of page 40, column 2. Ein boy tik biru betikun klal, because on Shabbos you don't go fixing up things. But the Apostle said, "Tzaddik eichel l'sei v'nafshi u'beten rishoyim texans all Meir and Chaysar." Tzaddik eichel l'sei v'nafshi. Tzaddik eats and there's no feces. This is why we all know that on Shabbos when you eat, you don't gain calories.
Father used to say that.
Right, of course, it's how much. Right. What?
Father used to say that he's 400 pounds.
Oh. So, what do you?
Because he ate the same way in the weekday.
No, if you eat the same way on Shabbos, you also gain calories. It's trying if you eat on Shabbos for the sake of Shabbos. Problem is, if you eat on Shabbos, and even that's the Baal Shem Tov story with the ox. And they put he saw a yid, whatever, and they put his talmidim on it. The guy was davening, Kuf Shabbos Kodesh. Suddenly he puts his Baal Shem Tov put his hands around talmidim, and they saw this guy saying the Kuf Shabbos Kodesh, and they saw an ox with a stripe because he was eating his piece of meat, and he became enmeshed with the meat. He became an ox. So if you're eating for Shabbos, it won't add calories. Are you eating for Shabbos? Okay. So that's the Avodah. Yesterday I had a fascinating experience. I had a kid from, he's a Bob of a kid from Borough Park. So his mother sent him to speak with me. She learned Tanya by me. And her child he's laughing at her all the time. Mommy learns Tanya. But he had some shaylas, whatever. So the kid's he's 16 years old, learning in yeshiva. He's no desire to be there. He came in. She sent it to me because he'll show you now because I'm weird.
Desire to be like you, desire to be involved. Both.
So why is he coming to me? Because I'm weird.
You want to be with us, yeah.
No, because everyone else is like, there's a certain schnitt of what they are. And he wants to get something interesting. So he scoots over from Borough Park all the way to my house. He's in. Sound of like an hour and a half. You smack a kid. Sweetie pie. He wants to watch movies with girls. That's what he wants to do. Why not? Why shouldn't I listen? He's sitting up there laying the pious, looks the whole park, whatever. He's a good kid. He's a solid good kid. Why can't I watch movies? What's wrong? And why am I sitting on tomorrow all day long? I want to make money. I want to have a nice, beautiful, big family. Me and my wife will live together. We'll live a good life. We'll go have a good time, go on vacation, go on good things and whatever. Have a lot of good kids and be able to make good chasanas and whatever. Like, oh, that's the way he talks. And then he's saying to me, so why do I need to do this? Okay, so good. So let's break it down. Why do I need to learn Gemara? And why do I need to keep Shabbos? I want my phone on Shabbos. He doesn't have a smartphone, but he wants his phone on Shabbos. You have to look on the phone on Shabbos. Let's sit down and break it down for him. So the avodah was to break down. I showed him, I said, you know what, this kid, we spoke about how to become successful and make money. And what you have to do, a frame of mind to make money. So I was showing him how if you keep Shabbos, if you control your urges and you keep Shabbos and you're able to let go of your need to do, just be, that's going to make you a very wealthy guy. So he was like trying to, buy into the program, etc. Fun kid. Anyway, so what's Shabbos? Let go of the need. By the way, he'd be a very normal kid if he wasn't above him. Everything would be fine. So on Shabbos, it's not that you can't work. On Shabbos, you can't refine the physical world. You say, why not? It's so good to refine the physical world. Because you've got to feel sometimes there's no need to do anything, including spirituality, good as you are. In class, Seudosi the Shabbos. That's how we eat 3 times on Shabbos. Because Gilnapom Be'em Shvi. Tlas Zimnin Notif Talo de Atika. 3 times the dew of Atik comes down. So there's like this. There's rain and there's dew. Right? Rain, we daven for Merida Tom and Merida Geshem. Rain comes down, but it's got to do with our Vayda Tachtoinim. So the person down on this earth has to accept the rain in order for it to come down. But dew doesn't need you. Dew just comes down anyway, right? So he's saying, work week is rain. But Shabbos is a Yekatal Yisrael. So you're going to have 3 meals to eat them without having to work for them on Shabbos. So it's the main of, of course you got to work because you made the food before. But the work is not on Shabbos. It's like a little bit of dew in the sense that dew means Hashem is taking care of you. You don't need to do anything. It's called Palo de Atiko. What's Atik? Atik is the Tainug of Hashem.
Is the what?
Tainug.
Yeah.
It's the supernal Tainug of Hashem. Chal Elikim B'Yem Hashvi. Vaychal is Loshen Klois HaNefesh. So usually we translate, God finished on the 7th day. He's saying, no. Then he didn't finish on the 7th day, he finished on the 6th day. Vaychal Elikim Klois HaNefesh. Vaychal is not to finish, it's to feel a yearning. Klois. That's the Yem Hashvi. Machmas Tainug.
Had he said that relative to a Kodesh Baruch Hu, the pasuk?
Elikim felt Klois HaNefesh.
For?
On the 7th day.
For what?
What is the 7th? The 7th day is a day of it's like any person. If you build a house, there's the building, and then there's the house. I have it. Shabbos is the day when you actually feel the Tainug of Hashem in the Nivra.
No, but not. Kodesh Baruch Hu. He felt Klois HaNefesh for what? Klois HaNefesh is a yearning. What did he yearn?
Is a yearning, but it's also a lack of nefesh. Right? It's a lack of, it's just being. You're asking, what does Hashem yearn for?
The pasuk spoke about a Kodesh Baruch Hu, not us.
By Hashem, it's Klois HaNefesh. The nefesh ceases.
So so that's another type of Klois.
Klois HaNefesh is when you get into a state where you don't need anyone or anything, you just completely present, aligned.
So tell us again. So Kadosh Baruch Hu felt that on Shabbos, that he didn't need anybody else?
Yep.
And during the week, he felt he needed somebody?
Of course, that's what it says. I mean, he felt he needed. He created the world. He wants the world, of course. Yes, correct.
No, but don't we say that on Shabbos that we asked the question of two Mechadim Cholim Tamid? The question is, how is he doing it in Shabbos? We made the difference between during the week is Dibur and on Shabbos it's Machshava. So why did he have the Machshava of creation on Shabbos if he didn't need us?
There's no Machshava of creation. The Machshava is Hashem himself. And that's what it doesn't mean he's thinking about creation. He's thinking about him. Level of thought. It's close enough. That's what it is. It's exactly this. It's the male waters, which is Hashem, and he refines the female. In other words, he overrides the nivra. Whatever you do during the weekdays is the feminine trying to get attention from Hashem. Shabbos, Shabbos, the male water, Hashem comes down to this world, total bittul.
Again, he comes down in this world, what?
Comes down to this world in total bittul. Bittul is ma.
No, I know.
Hashem tells you it's all fine, it's all good, everything's great.
It's the mon.
What?
The mon, Shabbos.
That's the mon.
Kadosh comes down in this world.
Not mon, my nukvin.
Yeah, but you don't even collect it, I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying it.
No work.
There's no work collecting the day.
I'm saying you see it in yourself.
Oh, yeah.
I was telling this kid yesterday, that's what we're talking about. You know what I told him? He told me he struggles with Shabbos. So I told him, so do I. He says, you don't. There's no way you struggle with Shabbos.
Yeah.
Told him, yes, I do. Because you understand what Shabbos is. I'm going to do what Shabbos is. Am I struggling with holding my phone on Shabbos or my car? No, I'm not struggling with that. But I am struggling with feeling Kol Melach Techol Asuyah. And that's hard, to actually keep Shabbos, to feel it and to feel the Shabbos in a palpable way. That's a whole different world. It's the Lopashut.
So on Shabbos is Nimshach the Maim from Atzilus, which is Olam Atik, and it's Nimshach, and that's drawn down the Bechinas Ma. So who has the bittul? We do because it's coming down.
Yep.
We have bittul because we're feeling the Maim Duchrin. Is that what?
The people come down to this world. Shabbos is the level of bittul, which is why on Shabbos you're not allowed to work. You can't speak work, and you shouldn't even think work. Why? Because it's a sacred moment. It's bittul. It's Hashem saying, I control everything.
So you say that's another way of saying the Melachta Asuya. And there's nothing, you're not thinking about anything.
Think about it. It actually doesn't make sense why you got to work at all. If you trust, you always have this question. If I trust in Hashem, so Hashem's doing the work, so why do I have to do work?
Because he said, because
Hashem wants me to act.
Yeah, he didn't say it, you wouldn't have to work.
So Shabbos is back to the default.
Yeah, okay. But you're saying that this Bechinas Ma, when you feel that means you're not feeling the world, you're not, and therefore Melachta Asuya.
Yeah.
You have to be saying.
The mind nukvi, no Bechinas ban. It's two names of Hashem, right? Ma.
But Shiur came a result of the Isadas, the first time.
No, it actually came before, but it's a dominant thing.
What?
The reason why they did that is because
yeah.
So there's ma and ban, right? Ma is gematria Adam, ban is gematria behema. So behema is when you don't feel Hashem, ma is when you do feel Hashem. He's saying yes. When we have to be a feminine doing things, that's because we're a behema, we don't see Hashem. Tikkun is to not just work. When you work, to realize Hashem is the one doing the work for you. Except you need to realize that. It always fascinates me, right? I have bitachon, Hashem does the work for me. If I don't have bitachon, he doesn't do the work. Hashem is real or not? If he's real, what does he need me for? The answer is he needs you to activate him. What was the question? If you go to the oil, I'm wondering, do I have to write this down? But it actually is not much that way. Whatever you write down, whatever you put down into your tefillah, whatever you're focused on, that's where the godly effect takes on.
But also the thought process, you're focusing your thoughts to what you really want to express.
Yep.
I'm putting it right.
Hashem wants you to work on Erev Shabbos in order to bring about Shabbos. So then I did work. No. He wants you to work to realize you don't need to do the work. So why do I have to work? Because that's how it works. Right? It's if you put an apple seed in the ground gets the message you want apples. You put an orange, ground gives you oranges. Is the ground giving it because of you? No. But it gives you what you asked for. So too with bitachon in Hashem, get what you asked for. Want a shidduch? Look for shidduch. But if not, maybe, but most often you won't find unless whatever you invest is what you get. God saw whatever he did was very good. This pasuk, when does it happen? Hashem saw whatever was done. He loved it, very good, and then there's a tainug, the kol sanafsham. So where does the tainug of Hashem come in? In that which you do. This is why a person needs to do and then let go. This is the same idea. Do the work, 6 days of work, and then let go. It's not because of you that it gets done. That's what it means to keep Shabbos. It's by the way, a fascinating way to live life. You know, when you're running a project, when you're running and operating something that you know stands no chance of success, like you're done. It's clearly done. And then I think about this all the time, and you keep moving like Nachshon ben Aminadab. You're walking into the ocean, and you're like, I'm walking in, Hashem. You want me? I'm going. And then it becomes overwhelming, and you're drowning, and then suddenly, boom, and the sea splits. Letter of the Rebbe, where he writes to someone who he says, how many times have you seen in your life there was absolutely no hope, no way of getting out of it, and then miraculously it just worked? Write those moments down, because that's how it works. Sheishes Yamim Tavoit, and then comes Shabbos. What's Shabbos? It's a whole transformation of understanding Shabbos. Shabbos is not 6 days work, and stop working because Hashem wants you to keep Shabbos. That's what this kid thinks. That's why I just want to keep Shabbos. Not what Shabbos is. Shabbos it means 6 days you work. You have to put in every fiber of your being to get it done, and then realize that it doesn't get done because of you. The results are never what the input was. They are much greater and much more powerful as long as you let go of any need for a result. So you'll invest in the result you'll get going to be much greater than what you could have thought about. They go to a total close and nefesh. A person was working, he stopped working. A person is in the middle of writing something. His seichel is invested in the writing. And then he goes back to the source. You can't do this constantly. You have to work. And then every so often, you got to go back and look. What did I accomplish? What am I doing? There's no work on Shabbos. It's already complete. We are behemoth. Hashem is an Adam. Hashem wants the behemoth to become a mensch. Yes.
Or to.
So okay. So Ois Aleph. Here's what we did. We asked the Kashya, what is Milah? What is Milah? It's the 8th. David HaMelech saw the 8th. Only Milah was the 8th. Okay. What's special about the 8th? But that over Yom Shmini you learn push aside Shabbos. What does it mean to push aside Shabbos? Well, you know what Shabbos is? It's not a day to stop working. It's a day when all the work is done by Hashem. It's a day when you feel totally and utterly taken care of. So now you're telling me, as great as that is, so much more than the 6-day work week, but Milah is a different league. Milah is something every Jew has. What could be more than this? I don't understand. Hashem taking care of everything. It's all God. It's all amazing. What's more? Let's stop. Let's make a stop. Milah is even greater than this. If you pay attention in Parshas Vayishlach, one of the most enigmatic scenes in the Torah, 8 kings who ruled over Edom. Each one of them, it says he ruled and he died. He reigned and he died. Except for
Last one.
Hadar, the last king. It doesn't say that he ruled and died. Why? Those 7 kings who ruled and died represent Toyu. Toyu shatters. Right?
And what's the number 7 that has to do with Torah?
The 7 midos.
No, 7. This is fine.
Who Hadar? The 8th king is Hadar. He's named Hadar, which is Sheresh Hatikun Yesoid Adam Kadmoin. Shamisham Me'oras Ma Shumi Mitzcha De'ak. Let's try and pack some Kabbalah over here. Tikkun is the fixed up world, right? Which is the foundation of Adam Kadmoin. What's Adam Kadmoin? The Toyu is an animalistic world, right? Why? Because everything's animalistic, so it shatters. It's not able to hold itself. Tikkun is a fixed up world. Adam Kadmoin is fixed up. Adam is Tikkun by definition. Adam is, he has a brain and a heart, and he figures out things and whatever. That's how man operates. So that's where the bittul comes from. What is it? Mitzcha de'ak. Mitzcha de'ak is a fascinating thing. On your head, you have a forehead. What's a forehead? It's like a no man's land. So the forehead, he's saying, is the residue of Olam HaToyu left inside you. Shu lemayla m'bchinas ma shebatzilus, shekvar nimshach v'nislabesh b'olam hatikun. So Atzilus is normally the world of Tikkun, but there's something in Atzilus which comes from a much higher level. We're going to go back to understanding in a moment. I know this is heavy Kabbalah there. Something in Atzilus that's far greater than anything you could ever imagine. So what happens is there's a synthesis of Toyu and Tikkun. That's what this is. It's the synthesis of Toyu. The Tikkun, skip the parentheses, Benika Raiva, the whole Raiving. Mocker color, it's the ultimate will of Hashem in creation. And where we're going to go to with Mila is that Mila synthesizes the Toyu and the Tikkun, which means the ultimate purpose is not to be a person in Tikkun. The ultimate person is to synthesize Toyu and Tikkun together. So the first piece of the Maimon is what Shabbos is so you feel complete. But the goal is not to feel complete. The goal is to feel complete and be a mensch, and together, Toyu and Tikkun together, B'ezrat Hashem, tomorrow we'll do it. This is why there's an Esav in life. Esav is the greatest kid ever, and you have to understand Esav. Esav is a kid of Toyu, comes down into Tikkun.
So, okay, we'll talk tomorrow.
Next week's Parasha Achim in Kippur, it's a lot of fun. That's what I'm saying. The forehead basically is a piece of the body. The brain is the brain, right? What's the forehead? Look at there's eyes, ears, nose, mouth, even the cheeks. It's like it's part of the mouth. What's the forehead?
I think everything has a purpose.
Yeah, the forehead is a piece of it's a totally piece. There's no, you can tell a person, but there's nothing there. It's an interesting, stateless.
Is everything and nothing at the same time?
Yeah, mitzvah.
What mitzvah?
Anyway.
Thank you.
Makes sense. Okay, Shkoyach.
Mitzvah